The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Alongside Carson-Newman women's basketball coach Mike Mincey, I'm Michael Watchring, and this is the Eagles Sports Network. The fourth-ranked Lady Eagles play host to Catawba on Saturday at 2 o'clock. And, Coach, you're right at that midpoint of the season. You've played 14 games, and you have 14 more to go. Obviously, there's probably not a ton that you need to work on, but what's one thing that you want to see your team improve upon from the first 14 through the last 14?
Honestly, just kind of thinking about that question, probably I think there's been some games where in the first quarter we've started out really good. I mean, most games we've started out fairly hot, scoring the ball really well and gaining a lead. And then there's just been a few games where we've then all of a sudden started to sputter, whether it's been a substitution or whatever, that we allow the team to kind of get back into the game. And then you got to get back in the second quarter and try to extend again. And I think really good teams, once they get that lead early in the first quarter or at some point in the first half, they're able to kind of keep their foot on the accelerator and keep going. And we haven't necessarily done a good job at that. And so that would be one thing. Other than that, I think there's been, maybe going on the road and shooting the ball a little bit better will be something. Of course, we haven't gone on the road yet. Won't be going on Saturday. But those might be two of the things. If I had to nitpick, a team that's been playing pretty well.
Start of the season, unranked. You've reached all the way to number 4 in the country. I know your goals are conference-related, first and foremost, but have any of the goals changed for this group after the first 14 games?
I don't think so. I mean, when we talked preseason, 14-0 at this point wasn't necessarily something we were talking about. We knew we had a pretty good squad and a good roster and an opportunity to have a great year. To make it to number 4 in the country, I mean, obviously that wasn't really in our plans. You really can't control that because there's voters that vote on it. But I don't know. I mean, every team in our conference, I'm sure, starts the year out and say, well, we want to win the regular season and we want to do that. But if you back up and just look at realistic goals, you want to be in the top 4. You want to make it back to Furman. I mean, because the conference means so much more. And then when you get out of that and you start looking at the region, I mean, if season were to end the day, we'd be the number 1 team in the region. You get to host. But with 14 games left, we're not even really thinking about that. We're wanting to finish in the top 4 in our league. And if we play well, try to win it and see what happens. But other than that, the goals haven't really changed as much.
You close the scope to just Saturday. Catawba, after a rough start to the year, they're now 5-1 in the conference, right, and they're 1 game behind you. If they beat you, they're the number 1 team in the league. What about this Catawba team has changed over the last couple games?
Well, they played without Terry Rogers. I think I can't remember how many games at the very beginning they played without, but I know they did suffer a loss or two without her, and then they get her back in play, and they've played really well of late. They've had some good wins at home. They had a good win just yesterday on the road at LR, which is always tough to play. And so, they're a quality team. They only lost basically 1 starter from last year, and that was Bree Johnson. And they're bringing all conference type players back with Terry and with Serena Brown. And so we know it's a challenge. And I mean, look, if you're looking about the conference, I mean, we're 6-0 in conference play. They're 5-1. The national rankings and all that other stuff has no effect. This is about conference play. And, you got to win games at home if you want to finish in that top 4 like we talked about. And so it's going to be a big challenge. And our kids are looking forward to it because I know Catawba's going to be ready and they're going to come in here and play really hard. And so we're looking forward to that challenge against a well-coached and a really good basketball team.
Coach, thanks for the time. Best of luck Saturday.
Thank you, Michael.
He's Carson-Newman women's basketball coach Mike Mincey. I'm Michael Watchring, and this is the Eagle Sports Network.